everybody. Welcome to Thursday Yoga. Um, I'm still in awe over my round mat. I'm very proud of my round mat. I had a lovely yoga session on Wednesday where I was able to show all different views of the mat. So tonight we are continuing on with the value of letting go of that which no longer serves you. So this is your opportunity to shed whatever stress you may have had with your day. This is an opportunity to turn inward and have self-examination during this time of what things you may be holding on to that no longer work well in your life for you. These could be emotional constraints, they could be relationship constraints, they could be material things, they could be expectations. But now's an opportunity while we go through our flow tonight to have that type of introspection and examination. And I won't be reminding you throughout the practice, but it's just a thought to put out there. We do more of that during our Monday night meditation, but tonight is the moving meditation. So do you have any requests, Suzanne, of what you'd like to work on today to make this truly a class that allows you to let go of that which no longer serves you?
Not that I can think of. I'll go with the flow.
You'll go with the flow. All right. So in keeping with this, one thing that really helps us to let go is releasing tension in the hips. So tonight we'll do a lot of kind of hip opening work and hip stretching work. Too much sitting, as we know, creates a lot. We hold a lot of stress in our hips. We hold a lot of stress in our shoulders. And it's sort of funny. I mean, it's not on this class, but it's sort of funny how Amina has a theme and it's kind of jiving with whatever is going on in my classes too. So like there's this kind of, oh, the spirit's moving us, the universe is moving us, and we are in unison in a lot of ways with one another on what it is that we are bringing for people. So this is all good. So why don't we just take a moment, find your Sukhasana, your easy seated pose, and get comfortable. If it helps you to sit up on a bolster as I am, so you can see my bolster here. I am sitting up on the bolster. By the way, how's the sound quality, Suzanne? Sound check, sound check.
Sounds great.
Well, you know why it sounds great? Because I got those new ear pods in, baby. Yeah. So I hopefully am in business now where people will not be saying, I can't hear you. And they're very comfortable. So now that you have found a comfortable seating position, a little reminder about alignment when we are sitting. What we want is the freedom to bring our chest up by pulling our shoulders back and down, and we can really only achieve that if our hips aren't really constrained by sitting in an uncomfortable position. So sometimes sitting all the way down on the floor is really just too much to start out your practice. You might end up there at some point in the practice, but to begin with, it's always a smart idea to sit up a little bit higher so that your hips are lower or higher than your knees. And that allows you, and then if it's available to you, I like to make my knees as wide as I can make them. They're hard to see because I've got black pants on the black rug, but my knees are pretty wide right now. And then, you know that when you are in the right position because you feel free movement in your upper body. So if your knees are pulling up and you're kind of rolling your shoulders down, those are all signs that all you got to do is lift up a little bit. And I say it, and I'll say it over and over again, that it's not cheating to sit up a little bit on a bolster. It's not cheating to use yoga blocks. It's not cheating to use straps when appropriate. These are all tools to help us connect with our bodies and be right within our own bodies. So let's go ahead and inhale our shoulders all the way up to our ears, and then exhale them back down on the back. So we have our shoulders pulled back to allow our heart center to shine. And then why don't we place our hands on the top of our thighs, palms up in the manner of receiving. And also serving as a reminder that we are really lucky. We have this moment together. We have this opportunity to share in the energy that is yoga. We are alive, we are healthy, and we really have everything we need. It's a matter of, do we believe that? And that's what the value of letting go of that which does not serve you, or not Brahmacharya. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought of which one it is. Well, it is, well, no, it's not. Move on from there. At any rate, sorry. I taught on it on Monday night and it's already left my brain. But, the sense that we have, that we hang on to things often comes from the sense that we don't have what we need. So this is an opportunity for us to settle in with that reminder that we do have what we need. And take this moment now to connect with your breath. Start expanding the belly, breathing in and out through the nose. And then start to grow your breath. Start expanding your ribs. On your next breath, include your upper ribs with your expansion and even your collarbone. And then on your next breath, fill up your entire body with breath and grow the breath all the way to the crown of the head. Go ahead and do that again. Now take a moment, using the breath as a metaphor for the idea that we have all that we need. I want you to introduce the idea of control into your breath. In your mind, I want you to count up to 5 as you carry your breath all the way to the crown of the head, and then exhale at as slow a rate as you inhaled. Go ahead and start. Do that a couple more times. Now what I would like you to do is try to increase your breath to 7. You're picking the pace at which you're counting, but I want you to make sure that when you arrive at 7, it's at the top of the head. And when you exhale and you pull your belly button in against the spine as you are exhaling, at the bottom of that breath is oftentimes when we feel a sense of panic, like we need to rush and get more air in. That's the moment I want you to tell yourself that you are okay, and that with control, you can start to count to 7 again as you inhale and grow your breath to the crown of your head. Let's go ahead and do that. Take a moment at the bottom of this last breath to examine how that made you feel. Did you have a moment where you felt a little bit short on air, a little panicky? Were you able to let that fear go? So carry that with you. I like to take some time at the beginning of every yoga practice to introduce breathing. Breathing allows us to control things and control our mind and control our fears and anxieties and our responses to things. And it allows us to truly connect our body, our mind, and our spirit, and take what we are learning here on the mat off the mat at times when we need it the most. And breathing definitely is something that I will use when I'm really feeling a little panicky and stressed. So if you are sitting on your pillow, you can continue to sit on it, but I'm going to remove mine. And we are going to go ahead and start some gentle movement with breath. So go ahead and inhale your hands up wide in your collarbone. Then exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down, reaching out as far as you can. Let's inhale up again. And then on the exhale, lean forward as far as you can. Make sure your sit bones remain in contact with the floor. And then when you feel ready, you can drop your hands to the floor and begin to move the crown of your head forward as you bring your heart center forward to the floor. And walk your hands forward as far as feels good to you. And let's breathe 5 times in this position. When you inhale, focus on expansion, and on the exhale, you can focus on extension. And by extension, I mean walking your hands forward. And I like to keep my fingers tented because it allows me to keep my shoulders up off the floor. On the inhale, go ahead and walk your hands back. Reverse your foot order so that your right foot or your left foot, whichever was in front, is now in back, close to your pelvis. And the foot that was close to your pelvis is now in the front. So for me, I just reversed and put my left foot in the front. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, reach out to the sides and descend your hands. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. And then exhale, reach forward as far as you can, keeping your back as straight and neutral as you can, and then descend your hands to the floor. Inhale to expand. And then exhale, extend by walking your hands forward. Go ahead and breathe like this 4 more times. One final breath. And then exhale, let's walk the hands back. I always love that first stretch of the day. It's a very safe way to start to open up the back of the hips where your hips connect to your lower back and your spine. So let's go ahead and do some cow-cat. So take a moment to consider your positioning. Your hands directly underneath your shoulders, pulling your belly button up against the spine and engaging your side waist muscles. Your knees are underneath your hips, so sometimes your knees are further back than you think they're going to be. I'll go ahead and turn to the side so that you can see what I'm talking about. All righty, so inhale your chest up, hips up, drop your belly just like a cow dropping its udders. And then exhale, pull your belly button up against your spine as you arch your back to the ceiling, dropping your head, dropping your chest, dropping your tailbone. Inhale up. Exhale down, pulling your back up to the ceiling. Inhale, chest up, hips up. And then exhale into cat, pulling your arch of your back against the ceiling. And then inhale into neutral. Let's go ahead and move our hands forward into puppy dog pose. So this allows you to shine your heart center down to the floor. Keep your hips up really high. This is not child's pose. This is puppy dog pose. And in puppy dog pose, we can get a gorgeous stretch along our front of our armpits, back of our arms. It really allows room in the belly for extension and expansion, filling the whole cavity up. Puppy dog as far as you can. One more time. And then exhale, go ahead and return back to hands and knees. On the inhale, look over your right shoulder, looking at your right foot behind you, creating a letter C, stretching out your left side body. Exhale. And then on the inhale, just reverse that and look over your left shoulder at your left foot, creating a letter C, stretching out the right body. And as you do your breathing, try to create the Ujjayi breath where you're constricting the throat slightly as you bring in air through the nose and out the nose. You can imagine you're creating the letter C without opening your mouth. I mean, the letter H without opening your mouth. One more inhale. And then exhale, return to neutral. Let's go ahead and bring up our left foot behind us. So pointing our toes to the floor, bring up your left foot to hip height, keeping your leg perfectly straight. Pulling your chest forward, pulling your belly button in against the spine. Now that you've created this gorgeous alignment, bring your right hand forward, but make sure you pull it back into the shoulder socket while you're reaching your hand forward at the same time. Be sure not to arch your lower back. Keep the integrity and the strength of this pose. Go ahead and reach. Inhale one more time. And then exhale, replace both your knee and your right hand and bring up on the inhale, your right foot behind you. Toes facing towards the floor. Foot is at hip height. Pull your belly button into the spine. Right leg is perfectly straight behind you. Maintaining that strength, go ahead and reach your left hand forward like you're shaking somebody's hand, but maintain the integrity of your pose by pulling your arm bones back into the shoulder socket. So you're reaching forward while you're pulling your arm back at the same time. Pulling your belly button in against the spine. Not allowing your hips to go sway. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, place your left hand down and place your knee down. Go into cow and cat, up into cow on the inhale. And then exhale into cat, arching your back towards the ceiling. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale into neutral. Now we're going to do that awkward airplane. Too bad Stephen's not here. That's his favorite. That and balancing half moon pose. Go ahead and go straight into the arm in front, left leg behind you. Inhale. And then on the exhale, bring your right hand to the side, bring your left foot forward to the side so you have like you're creating a cross with your body. The palm of your hand is facing backwards. Your toes are facing forwards. Let's do this for 3 breaths. One more inhale. And then exhale, pull your left leg back, right hand forward, and then place them both back down. Next side, easy side. Going back into sunbird, that's what that's called. Left hand forward, right foot back. And then on the exhale, bring your left hand to the side and your right foot forward to the side. So you have a continuous line from your left wrist to your right foot. Breathe with ease. Final breath. Exhale, foot back, hand forward, and then place them down. Go ahead and do a cow and a cat. Cow, and then exhale into cat. One more inhale into cow. Exhale to neutral, and back to sunbird again. Left foot behind, right foot forward, inhale. And then exhale, if it's available, reach back and grab your right foot. Kicking your foot into your hand, lifting your foot and your hand up into the air. Using the energy of the kick to rise up your foot and your hand together, getting a nice shoulder stretch in the front. Third breath. And then exhale, release that with control, hands back down. Second side, easy side. Inhale, right foot up and left hand up. On the exhale, reach around and grab your right foot. Kick your right foot into your left hand. Pull it up as high as you can. Open up the chest. Open up the throat. One more breath together. And then exhale, release that with control, hands back down. One final cat-cow. Cow on the inhale. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. One more inhale. And then exhale, go back into that puppy dog again. Keep your hips nice and high, shining your chest towards the floor. And then reconnect with your breath. Those poses take a lot of strength. They are a lot of work for the back. One more inhale. And then exhale, return back to tabletop. Take your right hand and reach for the ceiling with it. And then exhale, thread it underneath your left hand and lay down on your shoulder. Keep your hips in alignment by kind of moving them to the right a little bit. You can lay your head down on the floor to get a nice stretch of the back of your neck, the side of your neck. And if you want to increase that stretch a little bit, you can kind of put your hands together in prayer pose and sort of push away from your hands. That increases the stretch along your neck and along the back of your right shoulder. Exhale, place your left hand down, unfurl yourself, pull your right hand up to the ceiling, and then exhale, place your right hand down. On the inhale, bring your left hand up, and then on the exhale, thread the needle underneath your right hand, right arm rather. Pull your hips to the left so that they're more in alignment. And if you want to increase the stretch, you can kind of put your hands in prayer pose and push your shoulders away from your hands. One more inhale. Exhale, place your right hand in the center of the mat and bring your left hand up to the ceiling. And then exhale, place it back down. So let's go ahead, stand up on our knees and begin our sun salutations for the practice, since we should feel nice and warmed up now. But before we do our sun salutations, let's stand in Tadasana. So feet together, legs zipped up, shoulders up, and then back down. So your shoulders are stacked nicely above the hips, hips above your ankles. Look down at your toes to see that your feet are engaged. Your feet are your roots. They are your connection with the earth. So in that being the case, you always want to make sure that your feet are engaged. And when they are, that energy changes, moves up the body organically. You don't even have to think about it. Go ahead and place your toes back down, starting with your baby toes, and create a beautiful contact with the floor where all 3 points of the foot are in contact. The big toe mount, the baby toe mount, and your heel, all in balance with one another. Pulling your belly button in, engaging your side body. Now that we've got this, hands facing forward, elbows close to the ribs, and just take a moment to feel what you feel in this symbolic pose of strength in the shape of a mountain. Allow your chest to shine up to the sky. Fill your whole body with air. Take another big breath. Exhale. Inhale your hands up. And then exhale, slightly bend your legs as you hinge at the hips, flat back, swan dive forward into Uttanasana. The head is the last thing to drop. That's on your exhale. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, place your hands flat on the floor. Take your right foot and put it behind you and drop your knee. Go ahead and inhale your hands up in Anjaneyasana. And then exhale your hands down. Tuck your right toes. Bring your left foot back to join your right foot in your first downward facing dog of the day. And I just found a little something underneath my mat. So you get into downward dog while I find it. It's a bead. My beads fell apart during meditation last week. And I'm still finding beads on the floor. All right, so push your hips as far back as you can get them. Concentrate on hips high up in the air and moving backwards, allowing the space for your heart center to move towards the floor. Pulling your shoulder blades away from your ears. And breathe. Inhale your right foot up. Exhale, shift your weight forward as you bring your knee towards your nose and bring your foot in between your hands. Drop your left knee to the floor. Bring your right hand, your hands all the way up into Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands down. Tuck your left toes. Bring your left foot forward to join your right. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down into Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale, hands to prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale, hands down to the side. Inhale your hands all the way up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hands out to the side. Forward fold Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Bring your left foot back down to the floor. Drop your knee. Raise your hands up. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Tuck your left toes. Bring your right foot back to join your left. And move back into nice extended downward facing dog. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your left foot up. Exhale, shift your weight forward as you bring your knee towards your nose and pull your left foot all the way through. Drop your right knee. Inhale your hands up. Have an arch in your back if you want to. Exhale, bring your hands down to either side. Tuck your right toes. Bring your right foot to join your left. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale into prayer pose. Take a moment to reconnect with your breath. That first sun salutation really moves the blood. So we're going to repeat that again. One breath per movement. So it'll be a little bit faster. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale your right foot back. Drop your knee, or that's exhale. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, hands down. Tuck your right toes. Bring your left foot back to join your right. Move into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale your left foot up. Exhale in between the hands. Drop your right foot again. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, hands down. Tuck your right toes back to join your left foot into Uttanasana. So inhale into a flat back. Exhale, down forward fold. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale down into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor. Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, hands down. Take your left foot back. Drop your left knee to the floor. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, hands down. Tuck your left toes. Right foot back to join the left. In a downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, shift your weight forward as you pull your right foot between your hands. Drop your left knee. Inhale up with your hands. Exhale down. Hands on either side of the left foot. Tuck your left toes and bring your left foot to join your right. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale into prayer pose. Let's go ahead and do the next set of sun salutations, including chair pose. So inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the floor as you bend your hips backwards like you're sitting in a chair. Inhale your hands up. Hold that for 3 breaths. Final inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, place your hands flat on the floor and move back into plank pose. Now, if you choose, you can drop your knees to the floor. This is one of those moments where you say, well, do I need to hang on to the standard of a total plank, strong plank with knees up, or do I need to honor what my body needs and drop my knees to the floor? Inhale, exhale, pull your elbows into your ribs, as you descend all the way to the floor. Place your elbows underneath your shoulders for Sphinx pose. Inhale your chest up. Exhale, pull your shoulders back down your spine. Concentrate on clipping your elbows back and rising your chest up as you pull your shoulders down, increasing the arch through the middle of your back, strengthening those muscles. This is an excellent pose for somebody with disc issues. This allows them to encourage the discs to move back into position and strengthens all of the muscles on either side of the spine, from the lumbar all the way up to the thoracic region. One more inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale your shoulders up and back as you rise up into Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale, move back into child's pose, sitting back on your heels. Separate your knees and move back. Hands can be forward if you choose, or you can have your hands along your side, whatever works best for you. Yet a third option is you can have your elbows out to either side and place your forehead on your hands. Today I'm choosing to have mine straight out in front of me. One more breath together. Exhale, touch your toes and move back into downward facing dog. And let's go ahead and open up our hips a little bit. So inhale your right foot up, and then exhale, lift up your right hip to stack your right hip on top of your left hip as you open up your three-legged dog. My hands are sliding a little bit. And just concentrate on getting a front body stretch and opening up your hips, lifting your knee up as high as you can get it while you're pulling your right foot back, stretching out the quad, stretching out the whole right side body. Inhale, exhale, return to neutral, and then inhale by shifting your weight forward, pulling your knee towards your nose, and right foot in between your hands. Inhale, and then exhale, bring your left foot to join your right, sit back down into chair pose, and then rise your upper body and arms up. Hold this for 3 breaths. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up, standing. And then exhale your hands out to the side and down into prayer. Take a moment. That was some exertion going on right there. Now, if you find chair difficult, you can always back out of it just a little bit. You don't have to go into a deep sitting chair. You don't have to have your hands way overhead. You don't have to have your chest lifted as high. You pay attention to your body and what signals your body is sending. And that will tell you what you need. Inhale. Exhale your hands down to the floor. Inhale back up into chair. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to prayer pose. Inhale. And now on the exhale, let's twist our chair by clipping our left elbow over our right knee and then pushing our hands together as we pull our right shoulder back. The more you push your hands together, the more you're able to pull your shoulder back. Keep your knees even with one another. And look behind you at the ceiling. Let's breathe twice here. Inhale into neutral. And then exhale, twist to the other side, clipping your right elbow over your left knee, pushing your hands together as you pull your left shoulder back. 2 more breaths. Final breath. Exhale, hands down. Inhale your hands up. And then rise up. That was a tough sequence. You hung in. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale our hands up. And then exhale all the way back down. Let's go back to plank again. See if you can hold it for 5 breaths this time. Final breath. Exhale, pull your elbows in as you lower to the floor, and then inhale into low cobra. Exhale back into child's pose again. Take a moment to reconnect with your breath. And then tuck your toes and move up into downward facing dog. Well, my mat is gravitating a little bit. It does move, but I don't feel the need to move my mat because it's all one big circle. Inhale your left leg up as high as you can go, and then open up your left hip, stacking your right hip above your left, lifting your knee as high as you can get it, creating a beautiful stretch along the front of the body and the left side, trying to reach for your buttocks with your left foot. And then inhale back into neutral with your legs. And then exhale, pull your knee forward towards your chest and nose, shifting your weight forward. Pull your left leg in between your right. Inhale, and then exhale, and then inhale. Bring your right foot towards your left. Stay in that chair pose as you bring your hands up. And then inhale to rise. Exhale. Take a moment to capture your breath and assess how you feel. So that's our standing portion. I'm not going to torture you anymore with those strength poses tonight, Suzanne. Inhale. Exhale your hands down and inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Move back into downward facing dog. Stretch it as much as you can. And then on the inhale, I want you to bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Now, if you want, you can drop your knee. In fact, I think that's a great idea. Let's both drop our knees. You can leave your toes tucked, or you can lay your foot flat on the floor. But what I do want you to do with your right toes is turn them out to the right, as far as you want to, and just focus on pushing your knee away from your other leg. And if you want, you can twist towards it. You can move back and forth in a way that feels good for you. But what we're doing is just opening up the inside of our hips, lengthening the psoas in the front of your left hip, stretching out the muscles underneath your right leg. Feels good to me. Remember that, what I said, all that tension we hold in our hips. And if you want to, you can place your left hand in the middle and rise your hand up to the ceiling, and you can open up your chest, pulling your hand far backwards, your right hand, and just twisting, stretching, opening up the body. Boy, that feels wonderful. Go ahead and place your right hand back down on the outside of your right foot and heel toe your foot to the left as you place your right knee down, setting up for pigeon preparation pose. So right now, all I want you to do in pigeon preparation is just focus on having your hands on the floor and rising your chest up. And you can kind of crawl your left foot back to encourage a greater stretch along your right hip and the front of your left hip. Just focusing on stretching out the hip without the pressure of laying across your leg. Pigeon pose is especially important if you have low back pain. It's a very good pose for people that have tight piriformis. It's a good pose for people with tight IT bands. I just don't see any downside to pigeon preparation. It's a wonderful pose. Let's go ahead and lay down now across our legs. Let's start off on our elbows first. Adjust in any way that makes it more comfortable for you. Know what your edge is. Right now, I don't feel like I'm at my edge yet. I'm getting a really deep and beautiful stretch along the outside of my right hip. And being high up on my elbow means I'm not compromising my shoulders, which is a problem area for me. And then if you want, you can lay down across your leg. If you feel open enough to do so, you are invited to stay up on your elbows if that is what you want. But I am laying across my right leg now. And notice that my arms are not out in front of me. I'm getting just as good a stretch by having my elbows to the side, because what my shoulders are doing is not what's important. What's important is what my hips are doing. And I invite you to pay attention to what you feel and go for the feel. We spend a lot of time when we're in studio looking at what other people are doing. This time that we have in COVID gives us the opportunity to let go of that. Because when we're looking at what other people are doing, we are truly hanging on to something, a sense of competition, a sense of, am I doing it right? So hanging on to insecurities, and it doesn't serve us. So this time of COVID is good. So we're taking all of our yoga practices in our home, and you don't have anybody to look at. Now, if you want to deepen the stretch even more, you can join me while I thread the needle again and lay my left shoulder down, which increases more of the stretch along my right hip. But you don't have to pretzel into this position with me. You do what works for you. But what I do encourage you to do when you're in these deep stretches is settle the mind. Tell yourself that you're okay. This is just a moment in time. One more inhale, and then exhale. Go ahead and rise up very, very gently. Tuck your left toes, and let's move back into downward facing dog. So to do so, just pull your left hips back. Energy is coming from the core, and just be gentle as you open that leg back up and allow the blood to rush back into that leg. Stretch it as far as you can, as feels good to you. And then inhale, shift your weight forward and pull your left leg to the outside of your left hand and drop your knee. And again, turn your left toes out to the left. Take your left hand on your left knee on the inside and push it out. Now you can have your hand flat on the floor. You can be up on your knuckles like I am on my hand. And just pushing your left hip out, encouraging a deep stretch along the inside of your groin, back of your left leg, and the front of your right hip. And then you can move around in any way that feels good to you. You know, increasing, you know, having this movement, encouraging this movement when we're in these deep stretches really helps bring some fluid into the joints. It invites the body to gently open up. This kind of undulating back and forth, my new word of the month, undulating. And then if you want, you can raise your arm up to the ceiling, your left arm, and then you can open up the chest, allowing that hand to fall backwards behind you, which increases the stretch even more in that right hip. And then exhale, place your left hand down and walk your left foot over to the right as you lay your left knee down. Go ahead and bring your hands backwards towards your foot, behind your knee. Just rise your chest up. I've got my fingers tented on the floor to give me a little bit of extra height. You can also use blocks during this time if you want. And you can start to walk your right leg back to increase the stretch behind both your left hip and the front of your right hip. Boy, does that feel wonderful. Now you can start to descend over your left leg, starting off first on your elbows. Everybody's side is different. All of my life, my left side was more open than my right. I guess it's because I'm right-handed and right-footed. So my right side is very, very strong, and my left side is more flexible. But we are called in yoga to seek balance. Balance of the body is important to prevent injury. So while we might be tempted to really go deeply on the side that's more open, we might have to pull back a little bit to match what's going on the other side so that we have balance. So that's just something to be attentive to. My chiropractor used to tell me running doesn't cause injuries. Imbalances of the body cause injuries that running reveals. And that's true in yoga as well, but we can deepen those imbalances in our practice if we're not conscious of what we're doing. Now, if you feel ready to go deeper into this pose, go ahead and lay fully down across your legs. You can put your hands out in front of you. You can put them off to the side like I have. I've got my forehead laying on the floor. Getting a gorgeous deep stretch along the left side, back of the left hip. Now you can stay in this position, you can stay up on your elbows, but I am going to thread my right arm underneath my left and put my hands together in prayer pose, just as I introduced earlier, to increase the stretch of my left hip. I remember the very first time I did this kind of twist in this pose, and I went, my God, this is like revolutionary. It covers every part that needs stretching. It's marvelous. And I've always enjoyed doing pigeon in all these variations. Okay, so let's inhale one more time together. And then exhale, place your left hand down and rise up. And very, very gently, we're going to move back into downward facing dog, tucking our right toes, pulling our hips backwards, sucking in our belly button against our spine, engaging our abs as we move back into downward facing dog. Oh my gosh, this is your last one of the day. Make the most of it. Oh my. Let's inhale together. Exhale out of the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Inhale, drop to your knees and sit back on your knees. Welcome. So now we're in a setup for hero. If you want to sit on a block, you can. Or if you're flexible enough and you're warmed up enough in your hips, you can go ahead and move your feet out to the side and then sit down in between. Or you can sit on a block for this. But I encourage you to include hero pose in every workout because it's really good for your knees. It's really good to bring that additional fluid to the knees. It's also good for your hips and bringing fluid to the hip joints. Now, if you want to, you can start to move your chest a little bit forward. You can sit up straight if you want, or you can move your chest forward. I'm keeping my hands on my feet while I'm doing this. And if you have any pain in your knees, then I want you to sit up on a block. Go ahead and rise your chest up. So we have another 15 minutes. I want to do a little bit more hip opening. So I would like actually for us to do, I want you to sit, I don't know if you saw what I just did, but I kind of just twisted around and I've got my right foot very close to the underside of my right hip, and I've got my right foot on the floor in front of it. And what I want you to do is actually take your left ankle, or you can grab your foot, but I want you to twist it so that your ankle is rising up, your knee is going out to the side, then take your foot and put it in the crook of your elbow, sit up nice and tall, and pull your leg against you like you're rocking a baby. And the closer that you pull it to your chest, the more you encourage a stretch along your right leg and outside of your right hip. And you can kick into your arm. And if you kick into your arm, you can start to rise your left elbow up, which increases the stretch even more. All the while, try to keep your back straight. Don't round your back. And just stretch as far as works for you. This actually is the beginning, if we were to do it, of compass pose, but we're not doing compass pose tonight. Mina and I were just talking about compass pose and how, as yoga instructors, need to make time for our own practice to achieve those, what they call capital poses or pyramid poses. That might be the whole focus of one practice. But when we're teaching, we often don't take time to do that. So go ahead and place your left ankle on top of your left thigh now. And then let's go ahead and do a gentle twist. So put your left hand on your left knee, take your right hand behind you and just twist back. Twists are a great way to relieve stress and to let go. One more inhale. Exhale, turn your body forward. Take your right foot and put it underneath your left hip and place your left foot in front of your right ankle. So this is the setup for that rock the baby again. So take your left foot, place it in the crook of your right arm above the elbow. And in the beginning, just pull your knee close to the chest. And then if it works for you, you can start kicking your left leg into your elbow. which rises your elbow up. And just keep going as far as feels good to you. And that stretches out this hip and this area underneath the left thigh. Whoa. And then on the exhale, place your left ankle across your right thigh. So I've got mine high up by my hip, placing your right hand on your left knee, your left hand behind you. Go ahead and do a twist. One more inhale. And then exhale. Let's return to the front. Go ahead and place your feet in front of you. We're just going to do a little bit of boat pose before we head into our Shavasana, our final resting pose for the evening. So go ahead and inhale the crown of your head up. Hang on to the front of your shins, right below the knees. And then on the exhale, move your head back, move your shoulders back, move your back back, all in one continuous line. Hang on to your knees so that you can keep that V pattern. And this is going to be our first presentation of the boat pose. Pull your belly button into the spine, pull your shoulder blades together on the back. Inhale, and then exhale, lean forward into your thighs. Take your hands and place them underneath your thighs. They're there for support. You can hang on for dear life if you want, but I don't think that's the best way to do it. Have them lightly there. Inhale your crown tall. And then exhale, moving backwards, shoulders together on your back of your spine, and just having your hands on the back of your thighs for support. This is engaging your abs a little bit more. You might feel shaking of the muscles. That's okay. Let's inhale, sit up. Lay across our thighs. Inhale, sit tall. Now, you can continue to do either one of those variations, but I'm going to place my hands in front of me, and I'm going to lift my feet up parallel to the floor and move into boat pose that way. Go ahead and hold that for 3 breaths. Go ahead and let that all down. Now, the final variation for me is going to be the full extension of boat pose. You can continue to do any of those first 3 variations that works for you. Inhale your crown long and high up to the ceiling. And then exhale, descend back. And if it's available, straighten out your legs. But remember to keep your head in line with your shoulders, one continuous line from your hips to the crown of your head. One more inhale, and then exhale, hands, feet down, and go ahead and drape over your legs. Let's go ahead and lay back down on the floor. Take a moment to go into happy baby. So you reach between your thighs, so arm along the inside of your thigh, but you grab the outside edge of your foot on both sides. And this just allows you to get a beautiful, gentle lower back stretch. You can rock back and forth with your baby. You can straighten out one leg, straighten out the other leg. You have worked really hard tonight. Here, this wasn't going to be a power routine. I would say it was kind of close to one. Sometimes winging it brings about interesting results. All right, go ahead and place your feet together, the palms of your feet together in bound angle pose, and just pull your legs towards you, allowing your knees to go out to the sides. Keep your shoulder blades on the floor. You've worked it tonight. You probably feel a lot of work in your lower hips, lower back. All right, go ahead and descend your feet down. Now you can keep your feet in bound angle pose like I have mine in, where my feet are together and my knees are out to the side. Or if you prefer, you can slide your feet down and go into your final Shavasana, where your feet are down flat on the floor. So your legs are flat on the floor. Now I want to talk you through some relaxation in this pose. First, take the time to connect with your breath. We're starting to slow the breath down. On the inhale, I want you to concentrate your focus on the crown of your head. And on the exhale, release any tension that you might be holding on to there. Imagine the color of that chakra. Sometimes it's a violet purple, sometimes white. Inhale again. And on the exhale, draw your attention to the third eye between your eyebrows and release any tension in that area. Relaxing the forehead, relaxing the muscles of your face, focusing. Color is like an indigo blue. Go ahead and inhale. Draw your attention to the throat chakra and exhale, releasing tension in the neck, the jaw, mouth, the collarbone. Focus on pale blue or turquoise. On your next inhale, focus on your heart center. Relax your chest muscles and your shoulders and your ribs. The color of the heart chakra is green. And then on your next inhale, draw your attention towards your solar plexus muscles. Relax all the muscles of your core. Relax your hips down to the floor. And the color there is yellow, pale yellow. On your next inhale, As you exhale, I want you to concentrate your attention to the sacral area. The sacral chakra is orange, and that's the area between your belly button and the top of your pubic bone. About in line with your hip bones and your sacroiliac joint. Tell that whole area to relax. Your entire pelvis. And then finally, inhale again. And concentrate your focus on the very root of the spine, the sacrum, right where your perineum is. The color is red. Tell your legs, your shins, your feet, your ankles to completely relax. Pay attention to what visualizations you might be having. You might have bursts of shapes like heart shape. You might have bursts of color. Allow the floor to fully support your body. Allow your body to sink heavy into the earth. Stay in Shavasana for 5 minutes. I will chime you in when it is time to come back into consciousness. So those are the chimes to come back into the present moment. Don't know if I just lost you. My screen just changed. No, I don't think I did. Yay. So go ahead and roll over to one side. And then using the strength of your arms, rise up into a seated position. I'm going to fix this to make sure a notification came up on my screen. And that caused me to kind of lose you for the moment. And of course, here we go. Back to our meeting. Oh, there we go. Always something with the technology. So go ahead and take an easy seated pose. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale down. Inhale your hands up. Hands together. Exhale to your third eye. Exhale to your heart. Bow your head. Thank you for this time spent together this evening. Thank yourself for taking the time for this self-care. Thank yourself for using your yoga practice, your prana, and your poses to shed the stress and shed other things that don't serve you. As you go into this week, think on that concept. The concept of letting go of that which doesn't serve you, of that which you no longer need. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. My light joins with yours. Thank you for coming. Namaste. And that is it. Class is over. Let me turn off the recording. Alrighty.
Hola.